I'm at the point now that I'm done with the paper templates on both sides. They are symmetrical. That's an important thing to validate. And that's why paper templating is a very good thing. So you can easily copy paste and then see if both sides are the same. Because, well, it wouldn't be the first time that something looks very symmetrical but isn't in reality. And also, make sure just see what it looks like. Downside now is that I can't move solvent, so that's also why I'm standing here cramped and the camera is on the workbench and blah. Because one of the wheels is not attached to the car anymore, and I can't move it around. So, but that's fine. Yeah. So now I'm gonna move inside. The next step will be to convert this to CAD. Then there is also this little hatch that I made on this side to be able to open the cooling system, which I shouldn't have to do often, but you want to have proper access. I don't want to make an actual door, but I just wanted to see the angles and everything. And I'm probably going to make a plate that goes here over everything. This will just be open behind it. A plate that goes over everything and just has these louvers, like a real race car. And then the other side will have the same. So the field of view is a little bit obscured. So you don't look straight into these radiators. And if I need a little bit more airflow, then I can just remove them before the race, and then afterwards I can put on the louvers, and they keep rain from going into the system, and mostly it just looks good. So that's what we're going to do now. Let's go inside. So we're inside in the office space right now. This is the paper template I made. And if you look closely, you can see that I made some squiggly lines. This is because the scan I'm going to make will consist of two parts, because my scanner is just a regular flatbed scanner that came with my inkjet printer. And as you can see, the paper template is way too big for my little A4 scanner. So I'm going to place it on here now like this. And then I'm going to make my first scan, then move it over, and these squiggly lines, they will come in handy a little bit later. So the first scan is done. Now I'm going to move this over like this. Well, this has a little bit of a high side here. So I'm going to flip it around. Place this on like a eraser there. And then, hit scan again. So there we are, the scans are finished. I have both files here, and I am going to open a new file, set my document unit to millimeters, because I'm a sane person. Gonna click create. The actual size doesn't really matter. The only thing we want to do is combine the two scans into one image. There's that. So I just dragged both scans into the file. What I am going to do is going to change my document a little bit to make it stand up, and then I can start rotating the images that I have, and I want to drag in a help line that I can use to let me zoom in a little bit, that I can use to align certain lines on the document or on the scan with. And well, I'm pointing now, you can't see that because it's screen recording, but this line here is vertical, and I'm just going to align that with the line that's on the screen now, the temporary ruler. Move this away because this is the top one, so I'm going to move that as far up as possible. And this is about right. Now I'm going to go drag this one down, rotate it the right side up, and I'm going to align it with the vertical line on the scan, so I know that everything is in line with each other and just aligned, so it's easier to use later in CAD. Okay, so that's it. Now I am going to select my eraser, which is I press the E on my keyboard. It's this one on the left side, the eraser brush tool, and I'm gonna pick a few elements. So I'm gonna use this one, and I'm just gonna make some holes, so to say, into the original scan, so that if as soon as I start to drag them over each other, the scaling should be the same. I can easily not only use the edges of the scan, but also these open spaces. If I move them over the yellow, you can see a little bit better. Let's move the screen down a little bit. And then you can see here, I can align the two scans with each other, use the arrow keys maybe, until they perfectly line up. This is about right on this side. Now I'm gonna go to the other side. This looks a little bit weird over here, but that's just because of the scan and the shadows that the light casts when scanning. So that's why I'm ignoring everything that happens here with the actual hole in the template. So I'm gonna focus on these squiggly lines that I made before, and the letters and all other features that are in the scan. On this side, you can see it's a little bit off. You can already see here, if I zoom in, that this squiggly line is not aligned with this. So there is a little bit of a rotation issue. So I'm gonna rotate, pressing, I've got snapping engaged. So I'm gonna press and hold Alt to make it a little bit easier to align everything. Zoom in to double check, move this up a little bit. Now I can see the VER or whatever it's vertical axis it used to say. There's almost a week between I've recorded both parts of the video. This looks about right. If I left side might be a little bit lower. It's a little bit finicky to get this perfect. It doesn't have to be like 100% perfect, but I'm just wanting to show what it takes to combine two scans into one, which I did just now. Now I'm gonna select the top layer, press Command E or probably Control E on a Windows computer, and if I drag it around now, you can see it. This is just now one image, which is nice. So now I'm gonna move it to the corner of the page, so its sides and top are kind of aligned, and I'm happy now with the image. So I'm gonna make a selection around it that kind of hugs the edges or the limits, the bounding box, so to say, of the template. And I'm gonna hit crop here, and if that looks right, I'm gonna hit enter. What I can do now is add another layer and paint the background layer black, same color as the scan, and there we go. So before saving, I move away the temporary helper line, the ruler, and this is it. So it's now nicely vertically aligned, so I don't have to do that in CAD later. Now my drawing is ready. The scale doesn't really matter in this point. We're gonna match the size, the dimensions in the next step in CAD. So now the only thing we want to have is the shape and both scans nicely aligned to each other. So I'm gonna go to File, click Export. Doesn't really matter. I think there is plenty of files you probably can import, but I just use PNG. That's nice. That's fine. Everything's fine. I'm gonna hit export, and I'm gonna go to my desktop, whatever, and I'm gonna call it scanned template. Save. Now I'm gonna minimize Affinity Photo, which is nice, and in the background I already opened OnShape, which is my tool of choice for this kind of work. I also use Fusion sometimes for personal projects, but this one is one of the major facts is that it's online, it's instant, it doesn't crash as often as Fusion does, and this is perfectly fine. Okay, so fresh new file, already called it radiator mounting plates. I'm gonna hit plus here in the left hand bottom corner and click import. Then I'm gonna go to my scan template file I just created, click open. Wait a second, because now it's uploading. Upload in progress it says here, and the upload is complete. So now you can see it here in the bottom, there's a new tab added with my scan template. So the first step is how do we go from a paper template to a CAD drawing. I'm gonna show partly of that in this first video. So I'm going to create a new sketch. I'm already focused on the front plane view. If not, this is probably what you see standard, and in here in the right hand corner you can choose front, right, top, whatever. I'm going to hit front because that's the logical plane that we want to use. Click front, and then I have a new sketch created. And then in the top bar, kind of like around in the center, I'm gonna choose, click this little arrow thingy and click insert image. The reason we imported it first is that I can't insert an image directly from my computer. I have to import it first. You can also click here, but I did this before. So I'm gonna click the file I want to import, and it says draw an image rectangle. The ratio of the file, the rectangle is fixed, so I can just add it. And what I want to do is just put it in place because I don't know the size yet. And what I did before is I measured. The best thing would be to when you make a scan to also put a ruler into the scanner. So you scan the ruler together with the image, and you can use the lines on the ruler for a very accurate. So I measured this before off camera. I measured the distance between this line, and it's 53.9. So I'm just gonna draw a line between the centers of these two lines, and you can see the dimension was 13.93 mil, which is way different than we wanted to have. But what happens as soon as this is the first line I draw. And as soon as I use the dimension tool on this line, then OnShape is going to interpret this first line as the scale setting or calibration of the image. So what I'm going to do here is I enter my 53.90, and it scales the whole image. You could just see it jump, and now it looked like it zoomed in, but it didn't zoom in. The zoom is still the same, but the image has grown from 19 point whatever to 53.9. So now the image is scaled to size. So if I draw something right now, we know this opening, I drew this opening. You can still see it here on the screen because I wrote it down on the template, which is a nice reason to write things on a template so you know the dimensions when you're working with it on the computer. Was 133 times 235. So I'm gonna, if I draw a rectangle just to quickly check, it is 134, whatever, that's fine, by 230, which means that I either my actual opening is off or my scaling is incorrect. But the scaling, well, I measured, this is fine. And even though if this turns out to be a little bit off, I can always scale it. Like the ratio of the image that you're gonna make will be right anyway. So there's no problem in that. Like if you're smart, you scan or measure the actual template top to bottom, left to right, and double check before you actually send in the file. But we're gonna save that for the next video. So yeah, now we can start to draw up the image the cat drawing that we want to have. So we can, for example, start with a circle. I keep just dragging stuff around. We can start with a circle here in the top. Match that to the drawing that we have. If you want to move it, I just place it here, and I'm just gonna move it so it's roughly in the center of this radius. That looks nice already. And then we can add more lines. I just pressed L on my keyboard, and I can make a line that goes down here. This feels about right. Then it starts to bend around there, and I'm gonna add another line from here down. You can see now that my template it looked very straight, but it wasn't at all. So my lines are there now. I'm just gonna add a spline here. I'm just gonna go add that one here. I don't want it to snap to that line, so I'm gonna do this. And this is about right, which is good enough. So I can select this line and start to manipulate it a little bit until it fits the what we have. You can choose to either use what's called circles as a base to make it very even and geometrical, so to say. But I don't want to do that. I would just want to match my template. The template shape was nice, and I don't think in the 60s when they designed Shove and they used software like this, because well, no computers. So I wouldn't be surprised if the circles used or the shapes used here aren't based on actual circles, but just on whatever the worker that made these shapes cut out of with by hand or whatever. So I'm just gonna match that. I'm gonna use trim to remove this bottom part of the circle. Gonna zoom in here because there will be a little bit of overlap there. And now my shape looks kinda like it should. If I just move the image a little bit out of the way, then this looks like the thing that we wanted to have. Yeah, well, now I'm just gonna leave you guys with this cliffhanger. I think the video is already getting a little bit long. I was doubting a little bit if I should show the whole process of making templates, because for me at least, it feels like something that's very obvious, maybe. And I can imagine that might not be very obvious for everybody. So I wanted to just show all the steps. So even for the very novice template makers, part makers, whatever, creative people, they can see all the steps involved. And also, I don't want to just make this glamorous YouTube channel where you just show and it like looks like all the custom parts just come drop from the sky. It takes an hour or whatever at least to make a paper template, and then go to CAD, and then wait for the parts to arrive, and then weld them up, and then finally apply them to the car. So this is going to be a 2 or 3 part video for a simple part like this, but this is what it takes in reality to make these parts. So that's the second reason I had to make this video a little bit more elaborate than you guys might be used from me. So that's it for today. Like and subscribe as always, and make sure to tune in for the next video so you don't miss out on the actual fabrication of this part. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Now I'm just going to scroll Facebook Marketplace and search for car parts. A V8. That might be nice for the PV build. Nah. Cheap Volvo parts. Nice.